Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm Hari. And, if my phone starts buzzing during this deep dive, it's probably just my mom checking in. Gotta love moms.
Right. And I'm Kimi, happy to be here. And my phone is actually on silent for once, so we can really dig into this.
Awesome. So today we're calling up a song that I think perfectly captures that feeling of like your phone's blowing up when you're just trying to live your life.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Lady Gaga's Telephone,
Yeah.
featuring Beyoncé from way back in 2010.
Classic.
Now, we all know this song. Like, you hear it at karaoke, you hear it out at the club. But there's so much more to this track than just a catchy beat.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to talk about where it came from, the anxieties that are kind of hidden within the lyrics, and the huge cultural impact that this song had and still has.
Yeah. When you think about like iconic pop songs from the early 2010s, Telephone is right up there, but it's easy to forget about everything else going on beneath the surface.
Totally. And to kick things off, let's start with a fun fact. Telephone wasn't originally meant for Lady Gaga at all. It was actually written for Britney Spears for her 2008 album Circus. Can you believe that?
Wow. I mean, yeah, that's crazy to think like, what would music history even look like if Britney had said yes to that song?
I know, right? It's mind-blowing. But the fact that it landed with Gaga and then became this incredible duet with Beyoncé, it really shows you how unpredictable the music industry is.
Absolutely. Like sometimes a closed door leads you to something even better.
100%. And you know what? This whole thing about missed connections and what could have been, it actually ties in perfectly with the deeper meaning behind the lyrics of Telephone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lady Gaga herself has said that Telephone reflects her own personal fear of getting swallowed up by work and missing out on the little things in life.
I feel that.
Like even just answering a call from someone you care about. And honestly, I think a lot of us can relate to that feeling, especially nowadays when everyone's so connected all the time.
Oh, yeah. Definitely like the pressure to always be available.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where the imagery of the telephone comes in. It's not just a device anymore. You know, it represents that pressure to be reachable 24/7, to be constantly on and never really disconnect.
It's so true. Like it's that feeling when your phone just won't stop buzzing and, you should just ignore it, but you can't help but look.
Yeah. It's almost like that ringing becomes the soundtrack to modern life. And the song came out in 2010, right when smartphones and social media were really taking off.
So it's kind of ahead of its time in a way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But Telephone wasn't just predicting the future, it's also flipping the script on the past.
How so?
Well, think about it. Historically, when it came to telephones, women were often stuck in roles like operators, the voices connecting people, but never really in control.
Right.
But in Telephone, you have Lady Gaga and Beyoncé, these two powerful women. They're not just answering calls, they're making the calls and setting their own terms.
That's a great point. And that ties in so well with the music video, too, which we'll definitely get to later. But let's talk about the music itself for a second, because it's so brilliantly put together.
Oh,
Like, how often do you hear a heart melody flow seamlessly into like a pounding club beat?
right. And then you have Beyoncé with her lightning fast rap verses and that voice saying, "The number you have reached is not in service."
It's just so unique and catchy.
And it really shows how Lady Gaga has always pushed the boundaries of music. She's not afraid to experiment with different sounds and genres.
And that's what keeps her music sounding fresh even today.
Totally. And speaking of fresh, Telephone totally dominated the charts worldwide. It reached #3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was #1 in so many countries.
I bet.
And get this, it sold a massive 7.4 million digital copies in 2010 alone,
Wow.
making it one of the best-selling singles of that year. It was a global phenomenon.
It definitely earned its place in pop culture history.
And to top it all off, it was nominated for a Grammy for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals, which is totally deserved.
For sure.
It's amazing to think that all of this came from a song that was initially rejected. It just shows you what hidden potential can be out
Yeah,
there.
so true.
But anyway, we got a lot more to cover with Telephone, especially that iconic music video. So let's get into that.
Let's do it. Speaking of hidden potential, that music video is a whole world unto itself.
Oh yeah, it's like its own mini movie, right?
Totally. And it picks up right where the paparazzi video left off with Beyoncé busting Lady Gaga out of prison.
And then they just go on this crazy adventure. It's like straight out of a Quentin Tarantino film.
Oh, totally. It's got that whole Tarantino vibe, the close-ups, the dramatic lighting, the stylish violence. And of course, they even drive the pussy wagon from Kill Bill.
Which, for anyone who hasn't seen Kill Bill, it's this bright yellow truck driven by this all-female assassin squad. So it fits perfectly with the whole female empowerment theme of the video.
Yeah, it's not just about the action, though. The video is packed with symbolism and commentary on everything from feminism to the pressures of fame to our obsession with celebrity culture.
We have a visual essay.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget about the fashion.
Oh my gosh, the fashion.
Lady Gaga's style is always so out there, and in this video, it's next level.
She's wearing these amazing outfits designed by Thierry Mugler at Suku Kudo and House of Gaga.
Like that yellow caution tape outfit and the one with the American flag.
Iconic.
It really solidified her status as a fashion icon.
Definitely. And it's interesting how the video sparked all this debate about product placement versus artistic commentary, because there are a lot of brands featured.
Yeah, some people saw it as selling out, but others saw it as a critique of consumerism.
It definitely got people talking, which is a testament to the power of the video.
For sure. It wasn't just entertainment. It was starting a cultural conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on, I have to bring up the Britney Spears connection again, because remember we said Telephone was originally written for her.
Right.
Well, there's actually a leaked demo version out there with Britney singing it.
No way.
Yeah. It's really cool to hear her take on the song. It makes you wonder what could have been.
I'll have to check that out. And the producer of the song confirmed that the demo is real. It's not just some internet hoax.
It's wild to think how different the song would have been if Britney had recorded it.
Yeah, it could have been a totally different vibe. But speaking of different vibes, we have to mention all the covers of Telephone that have come out over the years.
Oh yeah, it's been covered by everyone from the Glee cast to Kids Bop.
It really shows how a song can take on a whole new life when it's interpreted by different artists.
Totally. And the fact that Telephone has been covered by such a diverse range of people shows just how much it resonates with people from all walks of life.
Absolutely. It's a testament to its lasting appeal.
For sure. Now, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, that whole idea of information overload and the pressure to be constantly connected. Do you think Telephone would be received differently today in a world where technology has become even more ingrained in our lives?
That's a great question. I mean, on the one hand, the song's message about feeling overwhelmed by communication and wanting to disconnect that might resonate even more strongly now than it did back then.
Yeah, we're constantly bombarded with notifications and emails and messages.
Yeah.
It's like we're always on call.
Right. It's like we're living in that music video now, surrounded by screens and trying to filter through this constant stream of information.
Maybe instead of rejecting phone calls, we're now more likely to just silence notifications or put our phones on Do Not Disturb.
Totally. It's not just about literal telephones anymore. It's about all the ways we're tethered to the digital world.
But on the other hand, maybe we've become so used to this always-on culture that the song wouldn't feel as groundbreaking or rebellious as it did in 2010.
That's true. What was once shocking might now just feel like everyday life.
Exactly. But I still think the song could spark important conversations about things like digital detox and the right to disconnect, especially now that so many people are feeling burnt out from being constantly connected.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I mean, even if it doesn't inspire a whole new wave of anti-technology anthems, Telephone can at least remind us to take a step back and reassess our relationship with our devices.
Absolutely. So it really makes you think, what's our telephone now?
Right. Like, is it our email inbox that we can't stop checking, or is it the constant scrolling on social media?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
What are those things that make you feel like you can't escape, even when you should be relaxing?
Exactly. What would it take for you to actually hit that reject button and just be present?
It's definitely something to think about. What if we all try to disconnect a little more?
It could be a good thing, like a chance to refocus and prioritize what's important.
For sure. Well, on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the world of Lady Gaga's Telephone.
It's been fun.
It's amazing how a song that came out over a decade ago can still be so relevant and thought-provoking.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about our relationship with technology and communication.
Right. And it just shows how Lady Gaga's music has this ability to tap into something universal about the human experience.
100%.
Well, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.